But V, I hear you say, why are you talking about things that happened this September 16? Because, as the left likes to put it, it sparks a conversation. So there's this lady, which I remember Ethan Van Sciver didn't really appreciate at first. Like, he was being sarcastic when she appeared on The Mandalorian. I think he was afraid that it's going to be the strong, empowered woman trope. But in reality, no, I think she fits the universe quite perfectly. I really like her character, and she's an interesting addition to the show. But she's more of an interesting addition on Twitter. For, you see, in 2020, there are certain opinions and viewpoints that are not allowed. And this is happening in, allegedly, a free country. So we're not talking about things that are illegal to say, because then I would understand. But no, we're talking about things that are legal to say. But if you say them, there are activists and a lot of people with loud voices that demand you get fired. So they're going to terrorize someone into not saying things. But it's interesting because this leads to things like Hollywood, where almost 99.9% of the actors agree on everything that's political. They come out, and if you hear the opinion from an actor, you hear the opinion from the entire Hollywood cast. And I think they're terrorized to speak their mind. I don't think people behave in such a manner. I don't think that they are a hive mind that descended from the cosmos in order to bring wisdom to the rest of the humanity. It's fucking freaky when you look at it. It's weird as shit. The only time people have the same opinions on everything is under a fascist state, where they're afraid of the government for not doing bad things to them. So then they have the correct opinions, not because they believe that, but like if they don't say it, bad things happen to them. So out of fear, they start conforming and they say the correct things. This is what we're seeing here. Like, this lady is pissing off a lot of these people simply by expressing her opinions. Now, it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. That's not the point. Like, are you saying that people aren't allowed to be wrong? Are you saying that in a free country where people should have freedom, they do not have the freedom to be wrong? They only have the freedom to be correct and to be right. I just don't understand this viewpoint. No, seriously, it's the viewpoint of the tyrant. Now, you may say, well, okay, but she's got like this large platform. You see, like she's on a podium, and when she says something, other people listen, and they can be influenced. Well, that's on them, isn't it? They're grown-ass adults. So they can make their own decisions. Why is it that you're so compassionate about other people that you have to control them? You're treating other people like children, as if you're the mommy and you need to be between two adults having a conversation to decide what is acceptable and isn't acceptable to hear. It's just so fucking creepy when you think about it. Just, like, stop for a second and think how creepy this stuff is. Like, people aren't allowed to express opinions that are wrong. Like, let's assume I'm even giving the benefit of the doubt that, yes, 100% she's wrong in all of her opinions. She's just, like, so wrong. She's the most wrong person on the entire... She's, like, Cthulhu wrongness type of wrong. But so what? I mean, she's paid to act, right? That's her job, to act. I don't care about what her opinions. I literally don't care. So what are her opinions? Well, apparently, like, she wants the economy to reopen. And I'm not making this up. The publication considers this to be an alt-right opinion. In other words, she's literally Hitler. She wants people to go to work so that they get sick. Unlike normal people and decent pillars of the community and upstanding geniuses that would rather have people starve to death than getting sick. Okay, perfectly. You know, like, I understand. Bad take. Bad take. But then, she urged her fans to share her support for the trans community on social media, and she posted her pronouns beep, boop, boop. Now, everyone is freaking out. Even though ideologically speaking, gender is a spectrum, and why can't beep, beep, boop be a gender? What? How do genders even get created? Huh? Like, why can't she start the beep gender? And I'll tell you why. The pronouns in the bio. Yeah. Here's the shtick. Okay, now, if you actually have trans friends, like I do. I even have a couple that support me on Patreon. They give me money. I'm being funded by the transgender community, literally. You're going to find out that there's a little bit of, how should I put it, like a civil war in the trans community. On one hand, you have the actual transgender people. They want to transition from one gender to another. It's in the name, transgender. It makes sense. And these people, they full-heartedly do not feel comfortable in their own body. They had this problem since a long time where they felt like it should be the different gender. So for them, it's a struggle. Okay, it's difficult. I can't imagine how it's like. Not gonna lie, I can't imagine how. Can you imagine how it's like? Like, be honest. No, for a second. Like, be honest with you. Can you imagine? I don't know. I can't imagine. But I also can't imagine how it is like when you're in that part of the community and then you have this influx that started around 2018, 2019 with a lot of college students from universities, people that are edgy boys on Twitter who do not have like this thing where they feel like they're outside of their own body. No, they're using ideology in order to claim it's like, oh, well, I'm her type of thing. Like blue-haired, full-on socialist, fuck capitalism, rah-rah-rah type of mentality. Hammer and sickle in the bio and the whole shebang. And a lot of people are noticing this, It's like, are you really? Oh, no, even for Derek to ask the question, you're transphobic. Okay, fine. And then you have like the third category of people, which aren't even a different gender, but they put their pronouns in the bio anyway. Okay, and they say they do this in support for the trans community, even though they never polled the trans community to even ask them, like, do you want us to do this? It's like, and it's an American thing, like a Western thing mostly. Like, you're not going to see Chinese people on WeChat putting their pronouns in the bio. I think even the Vice President Kamala Harris has pronouns in the bio. All right, so just so you know why we're talking about. So why do they do this? Because it's obviously not for the transgender people. I am willing to bet that if you talk with Kamala Harris and you ask her to name like 4 transgender people that she knows, she wouldn't be able to name you more than 2, if that. I can name you 5, just out of the top of my head. But anyway, like, why do they do this? I think the reason they do this is the exact same reason why Christians used to wear these big-ass golden crucifixes around their neck. It's a symbol to show how devoted they are. That is literally it. Most people, in fact, I think the overwhelming number of people that have pronouns in the bio are leftists. Like, and I'm not talking like center left. I'm not talking business Democrat left. I'm not talking Nancy Pelosi left. I'm talking like full-on communism, hammer and sickle, Marx did nothing wrong type of shebang. And they want to virtue signal to others that they are part of this ideology, because what these people desire the most in life, personal observation, is for other people to give them standing ovations. You know what's the difference between a social justice warrior and a normal person? Okay, a normal person doesn't want to get a standing ovation for disliking Nazis. A social justice warrior does. Like, they want everyone to clap. They say Nazis are bad, and everyone like, oh. No, that's the difference. And this is what they want. They want a virtue signal to show how virtuous they are, because they don't do virtuous stuff like this lady does. Like, they're not an MMA champion. They're not a good actress that steals every scene she's in. No. These people, they do very little, mediocre mostly, but they use the ideology in order to show how progressive they are. And by the way, like, this used to be in the past. Like, it's not a new thing. Just so you know, this is not a leftist thing. Back in the day, religious people used to do the same. Like, not all religious people, but you had like the very fanatical, just like incredibly devoted ones, West Bethel Baptist Church type of figures. And they were the ones that didn't achieve much in life, but they would constantly use Bible quotes and Bible verses and lecture others in order to appear taller than they are by comparison. So this is exactly what it is with the pronouns in the bio. And by mocking this is the exact same thing like you would mock the crucifixes for a religious person. That's why they're pissed off. It's like mocking religion for these people. Oh, you're mocking something sacred. You're not supposed to mock this. So that's why. And of course, it looks ridiculous to go after the pronouns. So they have to go through her Twitter timeline, find everything else that she said which they don't like and find unacceptable, and it's like, oh yeah, well, she's putting people in danger. Oh. As if people can be mind controlled so easily, when literally like 99.9% of the media and the experts and everyone is telling people like you need to wear a mask because this actress comes up and she says, you know what, I disagree, everyone is going to just mask off. Like, honestly, this is beyond hilarious at this point. Like, I can't take anyone seriously that tells me that this lady is a danger to society. Like, she needs to be yeeted so that society can be safe. Because with her, we are in danger. Yeah, a little bit of a rant, wasn't it? I'm wondering, like, and by the way, just like this is a reminder, if you're old enough like me and you remember Tumblr back when it was popular, before the pronouns in the bio, people, and I'm not making this up, like if you're a new person on the internet, you would think that I'm making this up. I'm not making this up. They used to have their mental illnesses in the bio. What do you mean? Well, like you'd have John, you know, social justice cleric. Like, I'm not kidding. Like that's how they would name themselves. Like there was this journalist, social justice priest or something. And they would put in the bio autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder. Like they would have like a list of mental illnesses. It was bizarre. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I understand that there are people who have special needs. But why do you feel the need to share? I mean, if I would have a herpes on my cock, do you think like I would come here and tell everyone about it? Like put it in my bio or something? That's what I don't get. There are people that don't have an arm or a leg and they don't put that on their bio. That's the interesting thing. Like they wanted attention. They want, because like in the real world, when you see someone with an actual issue that's struggling, you feel compassion, you feel like helping them. So like the only way these people would wanted compassion was to say, oh yeah, I have this problem. And by the way, like it was so funny because a lot of people stopped believing them and they were like, dude, you do not have these things. And they were like, no, I definitely have it. It's like, well, show me a doctor note. Like, show me where you've been diagnosed. I self-diagnosed. Like, why should doctors know better? Like, I know better. It was kind of funny. Like, there was this guy, and I'll end the video with this, but like, I remember this guy had a blog where he talked about autism. And at one point, like, people asked him, it's like, well, where have you been diagnosed? And he started going in a rant about how doctors don't know anything and people know better about themselves and they don't need a doctor's note and blah, blah, blah. And I think, like, one of the reasons they had this is because they used it as a shield. Like, they would say ridiculous things because they were socialists, right? So almost everything they said was just... and when you called them out on it, they would act, oh, no, you're bullying me because I have autism. Like, that has nothing to do with it. It's just like, no, it's like... I mean, what are the choices? I can either take you seriously on what you say and engage with what you're saying, or I can just say, well, you know, this person is a little bit kooky, and they just say kooky things. He's suffering from socialism. Anyway, right, let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Hopefully you like this rant. Hopefully I made you get a little smile, and more power to this lady. I think we need more ladies like her. And, yeah, I mean, the more upset these people are with ladies like her, the more they can leave other people alone. Like, she's a distraction, you know, she distracts the trolls, and they're focusing on her so that other people, like you, for example, can have a normal and healthy life without having these people breathe down upon your neck, without the moral busybodies deciding what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable to think. Horrible, I know. See you guys in the comment section.